All right, we are here with, I think it's Eluge. If Flage is Flage, this must be Eluge and not Eluge. But let's call him Eluge. The Shoreless C, 4 mana XX. Its power toughness equal to the amount of islands you control. It's mono blue, so you basically only have islands. And whenever it enters or attacks, you put a flood counter on an island, and then all of your spells are discounted by 1 blue for each flood counter. So it's pretty ideal to at least try to get more than one flood counter. You can flicker this, which is nice, for like basically free on a 1 mana spell because it is now discounted, and get a second one. You can try to remove or bounce all of your opponent's creatures, or I guess simply counter them, so you can continue to attack with this, and all of a sudden your 6 mana cards are free. It says discount by 1 blue. That does overlap into generic mana. It does not just turn this into a 4-drop. It can go all the way down to 0. If anyone was curious. So it does discount the whole card eventually. And from my understanding, at least, is it also discounts your X spells. So if you have 5 flood counters, you can just draw 2 for free on like this card specifically, or something like that. So that's kind of neat. I think it's funny to commandeer things for 0 mana. I highly doubt I'll wind up with 7 flood counters, but it is kind of funny to be able to do that. So it does protect itself with 1 mana spells for free. So it does have the ability of actually being a 4 mana commander instead of always needing to leave up an island every time you cast it. So it's like essentially a 5 mana commander, just like Aetherborn Duplicate or whatever, like that thing that had all the abilities and you could, tap mana to flicker it and stuff. The other avenue is it's a turn 3 commander, and you play a bunch of mana rocks on turn 2, because almost every single 4 mana commander in the game really wants 2 mana rocks if it's not green. If it is green, it's got all the 1 mana works, but if it's not green, it really wants to come in on turn 3. I'm going to try to not run mana rocks so I can run more relevant spells and do stronger things. That it does mean you're playing a slower game, but it's not that much slower, but it's still significantly slower. From turn 3 to 4, it is slower. But I think the offset of running more relevant spells is good enough to do it that way, and I also don't want to play a bunch of mana rocks. I'm not in the mood, so we're trying it like this. I did not craft these cards yet, but they're in my... Wait, did this get banned? No, it didn't. Why is it grayed out? I don't know why my mana drain's grayed out. I don't know, but I'm crafting Long River's Pull from the new set. It's like a weird remand, sort of. Like it counters a card, but it gives them a new one. But if it's just a creature, then that doesn't happen, and it's just an essence scatter. So that seems kind of interesting. This is the old Scry 2 Draw 2 on 4, but it also is a counter spell, so that's pretty cool. There's a lot of Scry 2 Draw 2s for 4. This one surveils 2, so I guess it's slightly better, but still same concept. I love me a good Scry 2 Draw 2, and it's a new card. I'm going to click craft to see why my mana drain... Okay, I don't know why mana drain was grayed out there. That was weird, but... Yeah, so we have hexproof and protection spells on 1, which allows this to actually enter on turn 4 if I have one of those cards. And that is very, very good. I think, I'm not sure if I'm running it, I can't remember. There's one that phases this out. It's like, it phases out. Slip out the back? Yeah, this one. This does not flicker your commander, so you don't get another flood counter. So it's one of the worst ones, in my opinion. It's still like a 0 mana protection spell, but... There's an argument that there's like better ones. I just didn't bump into one that I liked more than this, but it's probably one of the first cards to come out. There's also, I think, yeah, there's no other like way to really win the game other than bludgeoning my opponent to death with this card. Because I saw someone playing this commander, I am playing swords because randomly giving this protection seems kind of funny, and giving it the ability to sometimes be unblockable or have shroud against certain decks. Like if you're up against a black deck and you draw this one, well, you're gonna wish you drew the black one, right? But it just gives your commander like an extra edge and some card advantage, and I don't know. I haven't really played with these that much because color hate is kind of out the window for the most part, because a lot of decks are not all the same color, right? Even though green is by far the most played color, it doesn't really make sense to me to play these, but I'm willing to try them. They could literally be like other flying threats. Like there's that Tempest Djinn. There's two Djinns. There's one for like island count, and then sorcery and instance counts in graveyard. And then there's like Oracle of the Alpha might make sense in a mono blue draw 40 cards deck. Could try that as well, but for now I'm just turning my brain off for other creatures. I'm all in on the text box. So like, comment, subscribe. Let's send it. Alright, I am on the play, so I can Tails End a 2-mana commander. If I was not on the play, I don't think I would keep this. Cast a lizard spell. Whenever you cast a lizard spell, each... Okay. That is not your commander, my friend. I'm not really interested in bouncing it. Alright, that protects my commander when I go to cast it, but I don't have a land, and I really don't feel like being mana screwed, so I'm going to bottom it. Okay, I guess it's a really good thing I bottomed it, huh? Opponent is probably going to have to respect things. I really don't want to counter this, but I probably should, because it does create card advantage. I'm just going to not let it exist. Alright, I drew that. I do have Stubborn Denial, so I'm willing to play this. Do you have the response? If my opponent has Fatal Push, I'm just going to concede. Alright. So now Stubbs must be left up until I untap. I'm in a phenomenal position if I untap. I have answers to this, so I'll let it resolve. I'm not going to cast the bounce spell on my opponent's turn, because respecting a removal spell is way more important. And it does look like they actually have a castable spell. I don't really agree in any way, shape, or form about this attack. Cast a lizard spell. I really don't respect this attack, because now I get to swing, and that is very bad for you. So maybe they have Lightning Bolt? It could be Lightning Bolt here. Okay. I can just do this now. I mean, this is just very devastating. A life is just going to get a lot harder every turn. Oh, hey, look. Oh, man, this is great. I'm having a great time right now. Oy. Oh, mono blue. Why must you be the way that you are? Let's just casually draw a bunch of cards, shall we? Did I already play a land? I did not. Haha. Alright. I mean, this is just absolute nightmare territory for whatever's happening over there. 0 mana Disdainful Stroke. Alright, that's probably just game. Yeah, there's just... there's just nothing you can do. Like, what do you... Speaking of doing everything, this is really good, I think. As long as they don't, like, Thoughtseize me on turn 1. Okay. I can Archmage's Charm the Ledger Shredder. Unless it grows. Okay. I mean... Oh, it was mana value. Why do I keep doing that? Someone explain to me why I keep doing that. I keep thinking it can steal power 1 creatures. I couldn't tell you why. Okay, well, it's painfully obvious my commander will not resolve, so I guess I'm just playing whatever game this is. Let's discard... I don't even know. Island? Because I have Brainstorm? Yeah. Oh, look, it's the best card on my opponent's deck. Okay, there's no counter in rebuttal. They don't seem to have a counterspell. It could be Tail's End or something? And it is. Okay. My opponent notably got rid of their Thoughtseize, which is very interesting. I suppose I will play Discover and make my opponent's life very difficult. We have 7 cards. Okay, so let's pass and leave up double. Yeah, alright, my opponent sees a writing on the wall. I mean, it does different enough things, in all fairness. It's not 100% the same. Yet again, on the draw, I don't know if Cavernous Souls is that useful. My whole hand is kind of awkward before my commander comes into play. It was weird. Okay, well, of course, why not? I don't see much merit in tapping their thing before they cast their commander. Okay, well, that just flew out the window. They could have just cast their commander there, and they chose not to, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, I've got nothing else to do. I guess they really, really wanted to leave up stuff when they go to cast their commander. Okay. Can we circumvent this? Of course we can. I don't know what universe they don't cast their commit. Wow. They just not cast. Is the last card Wash Away? That's nuts. I mean, I hope it is. Name Elemental. No, it's name Fish. Name and Fish. No shot your last card's Wash Away. I feel like I'm just windmill slamming the commander. But they didn't. So there's only one card. It must have been a card worth not casting this. So it has to be like a combat trick or curiosity or something like that. Otherwise it's very strange that they didn't just windmill slam it. Like imagine this didn't have Summoning Sickness right now. and this was Curious Obsession or something. But it looks like it's an actual combat trick, so... Oh, I think, you know what? I think it's a ninjutsu card or something. Alright, you've convinced me to not block. I think it's actually a ninja, given what they did last time. Okay, it's that. That's... okay, I see. Does that make me feel like... No, I think there's no convincing me to ever actually block there, to be honest, so... Yeah, they're just always getting that card. I don't believe I'm ever actually doing anything about that. So, there's no way they're gonna block, but... suppose I'll play my land first anyways. I don't know if cracking this... Oh, I didn't mean to put a flood counter on that. I did not mean to put a flood counter on that. It is an island now. I just simply can never crack my fetch land. Whoops. Oh, okay, let's put that there. And let's cast this on this. I actually don't know what to do. Okay. Alright. I'm not too upset with what I've done. I mean, I lost my gate. I can't, like, seek now with this fetch land, but that's, I mean, I think I'll be fine. I can counter the Sea Dasher, which I must do. Can't be blocked. Okay. I have no idea what happens if I steal the Llanowar Elves, but I really want to find out. So let's steal it in response and see what happens to the Sea Dasher. I don't know if it's still targeting. Oh, opponent, we could have found out. We could have found out together. Okay, so I took out the equipment because I think the equipment doesn't make sense. The only reason I was running it is because I saw somebody playing them in this deck, and it was the reason they beat me. But there was a game where I had it against the right color opponent, and it still didn't let me win the game because, I mean, you know, but of course when I was on the other end of it, I got destroyed by it, but can't seem to make that work, and I think they are by far the worst cards. There is no way to discount them. They are literally 5-minute investment to sometimes be relevant. It just literally makes no sense the more I think about it, so ripping those out. And I added, I think, yeah, more lands and some random land like this because I'm realizing my commander turns lands into islands, so I can use this to create islands. If I need lands, this can give me lands by getting rid of dead cards, and it does mean I'm not really ever sacrificing it, but I do like the ability to just hit land drops even if they're colorless, because again, this turns them into islands, and that's totally fine. There's probably more reasonable options as well, but you don't really want to pick lands that like blow up or sacrifice themselves, because then you lose the flood counter. So I don't like that. And yep. Oh wow, a server rack. That's crazy. So it's a combo deck, and it's a kind of a slow combo deck. I would, if, oh man, I would, if I was on the draw, maybe. Shoot. I really like that hand. Tragic. Alright, this is fine. There's nothing that gets hosed by discard, really. I don't hate this. Okay, this is actually relevant. There are a lot of things I can counter at 1 mana. Such as, but not limited to, Jet Medallion. Alright, look at that. Sometimes your your Force Spike wins the game. Oh, this is probably one of the better cards in their deck, but there are a lot of colorless cards because that's part of the combo, so this isn't as egregious as it normally would be, because it's not like, it is like half and half colorless black cards, but I think I'm just like literally countering anything, and it's just essentially a mana rock, right? Alright, they mold to 5, so they must have a mana dork. Yep. Smooth Brain Mole, just for the mana dork. Which, oddly enough, doesn't actually do all that much in this situation. It is very likely I change the equation next turn, so I'm just gonna forego my fetch land. That is not Cavernous Souls, opponent. That is the One Ring. Alright, that is much better than this. Alright, well, now I'm just losing. Can play this now. I can probably beat the One Ring, but I can also potentially not beat the One Ring. Okay. I mean, if we're going to play this slow, small-scale thing, I'm just not going to really worry about it. Like, this stuff just doesn't threaten me at all. They should put a counter here and not a treasure, but they're probably going to make a treasure. Yeah, the counter would have been right, but I think that's kind of hard to see. Mana makes sense still, but I really... You need to actually kill me. You're not going to reasonably kill me if you go this route. So I can't keep the counter magic up, which is really, really bad, but I cannot let them cast their commander. But yeah, this isn't good here. I'm not beating a One Ring I'm ignoring. But I don't know. What? Okay. By all means. That's funny. Please, opponent. By all means. Alright, so we have nothing to do right now. Alright. And I leave up my change the equation so I don't lose to their commander. But again, the One Ring is good. Especially in a deck that gains life, I guess. This doesn't counter that, does it? 6 or less? Alright. Well. What do I do about that? Can I... Whenever you attack, this does not have to enter the attack for it to do things. Alright. I suppose I'll tap it so I can swing with my commander. Probably makes sense to do this. My opponent notably did not tap the One Ring, and they don't have any mana floating whatsoever to tap the One Ring. So that's interesting. So what do I do here? I need double interaction. I suppose bouncing this is good. I'm not going to bounce the One Ring, I know. But I think this is fine. If they commit to that again, then I guess they're not really tapping the ring again, and seems fine. Yeah. This, like, making them tap the ring repeatedly is a problem, but I just don't have much in the way of doing anything about it. This discounts by 1, so this won't be castable if I cast this first. Whenever you gain life, you may pay X and draw that many cards. Okay, if they're committing to drawing cards with their mana, I do not care. You already have the one ring. This felt a bit of overkill. Wow. That's kind of nuts. I feel like if you're respecting counter magic, you should just sort of windmill slam things if that's all you can do. It's very strange. They could have like swords to plowshares or anything, but there's really no way I just neglect casting this card. So, okay, it doesn't look like they have it. This actually can cost less because of the one ring. So that was a pretty good draw. Yep. That was a very good draw, actually. But it might not even matter at this point. I have so much going on. Let's see here. I'm not going to bounce the one ring. Just going to pass. Yep. The one ring is so it's just such a disgusting card. It's so gross. It's so gross. Oh my goodness. But looks like I'm in a position where I can very easily beat it. Let's Disdainful Stroke. Yeah. Like, it's completely nuts that my opponent has a one ring on 4 and I'm just still in an excellent position. That is crazy. But I guess it was right for them to start making treasures instead of the counters. But I think racing me down was an argument to be had at some point in this game. They're trying to, like, respect counter spells, but I really think they should just try to windmill their strongest cards. I mean, maybe they just did. Maybe they did. I'm just looking at this, but, I mean, I guess if you can do 2 decently strong things, it's better than just 1 very strong thing. Sure. So this draws 1 right now, because I don't have my discount, even with the one ring and all that. It's going to be very uncommon for me to actually have this as the only thing I cast with my discount and my opponent triggering it. It's fine to just cycle this. Oh, I could have done it for more. Alright. Sometimes I'm not the brightest bulb in the box. Sometimes I could do it for 2. It did get the discount from the alchemy card. So that was a mistake. No big deal. This is borderline impossible for my opponent to win, though. If they don't block this turn, they're dead. Actually, you know what? I guess I did kind of miss lethal. I could have bounced the Gallic Greeters. That was a bit of a whoopsie. Let's bounce something that doesn't matter. I don't even care about the one ring. Let's do that. Yeah. They're not dead next turn, but they take 4 off the ring and 8 here. They go to 1. No, because next turn I get to play an island, and this is 9. Okay, I almost missed lethal, but no, this goes up to 9 plus 4, then they're just dead. They could have instant speed life gain. They are running this, so I guess, but okay, well, it's pretty cool. I didn't immediately lose to Llanowar Elves. That's nice. I wonder if there's an argument to bouncing Llanowar Elves on turn 1. I feel like that doesn't make sense, but there's probably an argument. Maybe in a different format. Probably not this one. Okay, well, my opponent just out of nowhere has their 5-mana commander on turn 2. Or turn 3, I guess. Turn 3, 5-mana commander, and they have a Thoughtseize, so I can't even stop it. I mean, there's no way you don't take Wash Away. I think they're just reading my cards, but they're just taking Wash Away, obviously. Unless maybe they go Cavernous Souls, then it didn't matter. Okay, they just didn't take my Wash Away. I am very, very confused. Sure. I should probably just bounce the Beast token, right? Sacrifice a creature, search your library for basic land, blah, 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 blah. Yep. I will do that. I get to scry one as well, because it's a thing. Do I need a land? I do? Sure. Okay, all things considered, I'm a little blown away that they not only took something that wasn't washed away, they didn't play their commander. So, black, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, I guess they didn't have the mana? Okay. Do you sack for a land? You don't even think about it, alright. So either counter this, or just accept that nothing will work in the future, so I guess I'll just counter this card. That is a mana dork that can tap for slightly more than one. So if I cast my commander, there's resolves, which is really bad, which puts us in a really bad spot, but it is what it is. It is what it is. My opponent only knows... Actually, the one card they don't know is the one that's giving me a good spot, so... I'm gonna cast it. I feel like it was obvious I had a counterspell, because no other card in my hand makes any sense to keep up. Okay, an island was a good draw. I think I'm putting a stop here. This is really weird, though. So, what do? Do I tap this? It can tap for 2, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any land lets them cast this anyways. So I guess I'm just letting it happen. I'm not going to play around an untapped land. That's just not reasonable to me. I'd rather just take the benefit of giving my commander protection. But if this was their only way of casting their commander, then I'm going to feel bad about it. Sure. It has ward, sack of food, which is... Oh, of course. Yeah, why not? They can't attack me, so I guess I just pass the turn. They can never actually swing with this, because then I swing, and my attack is way better. And if I can keep them from casting spells... I think I'm actually kind of fine. That is okay. That is okay. Alright, I will commit to this. So, bounce that, copy and draw. So the blue arrow is the bounce. Copy my commander and draw a card. Of course, why not? Alright, well, now their attacks are better than mine. Two-turn clock. I can't stop it. I have to just, like, scam draw something really good, and I have no idea what that is. Yeah, I don't know. Utter Insignificance does make this a 5/5, but then I'm still just dead to it, and I lose my commander in the process, so... Let's draw... Cyclonic Rift does not do it, right? I can tap this and not die, but it involves losing my commander, which is really ugly. But I guess I'm not dead. I guess I'm not dead. So... no kicker? I guess I'm not dead. Cyclonic Rift was a profoundly good draw as well. This would be a crazy game to win. I'm gonna counter literally anything. Wow. Wow. That's nuts. But I like their choice. That's kind of neat. I've never seen that commander played before. Or if I have, I don't remember. Oh look, it's the best card in white against me. Of course. Fascinating. And I don't really have much ways to deal with it. Okay. I'm gonna make Priest have no text on it, so I can actually play the game. Otherwise, I literally cannot play the game. So, yep. Make Cavern of Souls an island while we're at it. Give our commander a little bit more toughness. Land tax is usually not a big deal. I would like to play it though, especially like Brainstorm and stuff, but I'm never really concerned when someone plays land tax. Like, alright, you just don't miss your land drop, and you draw slightly less lands for your draw. But it's not, like, completely oppressive. Like, Esper Sentinel's probably just better. Well, I mean, it just is. Destroy all creatures. Ooh. Ooh, opponent. Oh, no. Oof. Big, big oof. Okay, well, this is a black-white creature deck that blows its own creatures up. So I guess I don't feel too bad about that, but boy, did I have the answer. So, let's see, I have one. I can actually cast this? That's nuts. Do I? No, I don't. Alright, just do nothing. Well, now they're ahead on lands, so I guess the land tax will now just never do anything ever again. I'll let that resolve. And then just draw here. They can't do anything but swords, and they can't even Fatal Push, so. Okay. Oh, I should have played a land first. Whoops. Should have played a land first there. I do draw more with the Seagate if I don't play land first, but should play land first. Whenever this creature, blah, blah, blah. Alright, let's, not let that exist. I will take the blowout. Play a land, and pass. Sure, I can beat Erebos. It's safe to bounce something. I guess I'll bounce the token. No, they can sack it in response. Alright, I'll just bounce Erebos back to hand. That's fine. If I target the token, they can sack it and nothing happens. Yeah, that board wipe just completely blew my opponent out. Maybe they're just super laggy? Oh, they did get Overgrown Tomb. Okay. Alright. I don't really know why this took more than 20 minutes, but... At least I have Essence Scatter, I guess. I don't know. I swear if I don't draw a land again, dude, I'm just gonna stop playing this deck. I'm getting mana screwed way too often. There's plenty of lands in this deck. The land count is not a problem. That is also not a problem, I don't think. Sure. So I guess I'll hold on to this. Doesn't really matter, though. It is not an island. I guess it does matter. If for some reason I spend all my mana. Do we just swing for 2? No. Reclaimer will get either Cavern or something like that. Wow, they just didn't do anything at all. That's kind of crazy. Do I Mystic Sanctuary for no reason? I don't think so. Do I Stern Dismissal? Maybe I actually Stern Dismissal. Force the issue now. And if they get Cavernous Souls, then, well, now I know and I can play accordingly. That is not Cavernous Souls. Do we have another card? Does not look like they have another card. So if they cast their commander, I can Witness Protection it, but I have to swing into it, which is not that bad with these two. And again, they did not get Cavern of Souls. Maybe it's just in hand. Could just be in their hand. They just got Restless Cottage. Got the old cottage cheese. What does this do? Exile a card. So they did just have Cavern in hand. Makes sense. Sure. What does that entail? What does that mean? What does Dark Ritual do? Primeval Titan. Okay. Guess I have to deal with that with the Witness Protection. Because I can counter it. I cannot counter this, and I want to Witness Protection it, right? So maybe I actually do just simply bounce Primeval Titan, which looks really weird, but I believe it might be the right idea. I'm not going to overload. It's not even like overloading does much anyways in this spot, so... But Cavernous Souls, namely, cannot stop that. Let's pass turn. Gotta love Cavernous Souls. Negating an entire color. You love it? Well, so far it's alright. It's alright. Every time I have like a back and forth game, my opponent just has Cavernous Souls, and half the things I do just no longer matter. I can't do that, so I just untap. That was a phenomenal Omega level draw, so now I don't have to bounce that. Or Witness Protection it. That was a very good draw. It doesn't mean I win, though. I need to draw something really, really good off of this. I kind of did. Kind of. I can steal Elvish Reclaimer. Right? It is a 1-mana card. I don't really know why I would do that. I feel like drawing 2 cards is just way better. And, yeah. So I want to discount on my turn. And pass. I don't believe Reclaimer is going to win the game if I let them just have it. They can only... There's nothing for their woodland to steal. But if they cast Primeval Titan... Can they then Shifting Woodland it? I believe that's what they're trying to math out right now. And I don't think they can. Excavator, what lands are in there? If I counter this, I cannot counter anything else. So you got it. So at this point, they can just ignore Primeval Titan. There's no reason to play it, because they have the best card in their entire deck against me. Fascinating. I cannot stop the Gitrog monster. It is an upkeep trigger. They have one way to draw a card. Yep. They do it right now. I guess at this point I bounce it. So they can't play an additional land. They did not swing. I'm not interested in casting Unsummon. I'm still, like, not actually doing that much, which is a huge problem. Oh, I should have played my land first. I keep doing this. I keep doing this. Okay, they blocked. I keep doing that, dude. I swear, I gotta stop doing that. I could have put them to 1, and then fetch lands can't work. But they blocked anyways. Thankfully, we do have an unsummon for the Gitrog monster again. But they can, I think, cast it twice. But if that's the only thing they're doing, it's not that big of a deal. Sure. But, yep, I got nothing to do. There's no incentive for me to do anything on my turn. Maybe, like, witness protection this? That just doesn't feel like it makes sense. Wow. Wow. They got upset, dude. They were fine. Weren't they fine? Hold on. Stole an extra turn and still lost. Actually insane. Actually nuts. The game is so much slower now with all these stupid fetch lands. The game is so much slower. It's kind of annoying. Yep. I'm not leaving up anything. At least this Sorin is really bad, but that means their deck is like a bunch of random things I'd rather not deal with. Which is not a good sign. Let's play this. My commander is pretty vulnerable. I could just wait till turn 5. It's not like their turns are like... Their turns don't change that much, right? Unless they have like an insane end-step thing to do. So, if it's a single... No, I think I'm going to wait. I think I'm going to wait a turn. Which is kind of weird, but like... I'm going to wait. Opponent has a castable card. Maybe it could target this, is why it's doing that. Looks like that is the case. Yep. That was a phenomenal draw, actually. That was something I really like to see right now. Oh, look. Infinite removal. Please play your commander? I would love you to windmill slam your commander. Okay, of course not. Yep. Now what? Why does this have hexproof, dude? Why does that have hexproof? Okay. Well. Of course, yep. Now I'm just losing to a resolved large scary threat I have zero answer to. Whoop-de-doo. Come on, game. They kill it again. What am I doing casting my commander? What is it? Where is it getting me? I feel like it's not getting me anywhere. Oh, this Kaya's just gonna win. It's ridiculous. Okay, I actually drew it. That's insane. Alright, never mind. Maybe it doesn't just straight up win now. I actually drew it. Alright, we're back in it. Unless my opponent has, like... I don't even know. It's still, like, bad news? Oh, wow, that's also really good. Okay. Might actually cast my commander yet again. That is fine. It bounces to Cyclonic Rift. This is a... They didn't swing with their... this. They could have gotten another Flood counter. So I can't let Kaya resolve ever, or I just go back to losing horribly, and I got nothing else to do, so... We just do this draw-go thing. I don't want them to draw more than me. I can just commit that away. I cannot do... Or, my hand is good enough to not make a move, in my opinion. Maybe not. It is a land, but I have memory. Probably gonna dump my hand anyways, and just find new cards. I don't know why they did that. I could just move phases. That was weird. There's no reason to do that. That was very strange. So if my commander dies, it's fine, right? No, it kind of isn't fine. It kind of, like, actually isn't fine if it dies. Maybe I just ignore my commander for a while. So this is good, and all the other cards are a little redundant. I could just maybe just take a random thing there like that. Alright. Commandeer is very good here if they go to cast something I would love to steal. I just don't know what that is. Sure? I can actually copy that. I don't know if I want to. Could, though. I probably should just cast this. Oh, I can't copy it. What am I talking about? It's only my copy that... Yeah, never mind. That's funny. That is funny. Can I cast my commander now? Let's see. I'd have 2 up. I don't have any counterspells anyways to, like, fight back, so I guess I should just simply cast it? Maybe I should wait until I get a very good card to, like, go with it. Yeah, that's probably better. I mean, I think I'm not losing to this Restless Fort. I don't even know what happens if I make it lose all abilities. I'm just going to find out. I'm just going to do this. And just find out. Actually, you know what? Let's 1, 2, 3. And just get rid of it completely. With my only, like, hard spot removal spell. Okay. Sure. Oh, I see. So now I can't use the soul partition to target their card. Fair enough. Alright, well, they tapped out to do all that crazy stuff, so they did get their whole hand in play and all that jazz. I think it's, at this point, probably safe to actually play this, so I will. And don't have much to do with it, but okay. Crazy. Crazy, crazy game. I didn't have a hard answer to Sorin. They could cast it again, but my commander is way too large for this to kill it. But they can plus and start to like cycle it to draw cards. They're not totally out of this. They committed a bajillion cards to protecting that manland, which does make sense. An uncounterable threat in a deck where, like, my opponent was playing well. If I didn't answer that Kaya when I did, would have... Oh, right, I shuffled everything. Like, the Kaya slipped through, and I think that might have been my fault, honestly. I think I probably got a little too caught up in trying to resolve this. I really didn't think I was going to win that with the Kaya drawing so many cards, but we drew the Cyclonic Rift. Okay, so I like this commander a lot. It is your quote-unquote big blue deck, right? You know, there's like a bunch of big red commanders like Chandra, the other Chandra. oh wait, there's also Koth, I guess, just Koth. And there's a new one. I think there's like that elemental that like keeps your red mana, but I'm getting caught up. For blue, it's kind of cool to have like a quote-unquote big blue commander for spells. That's kind of cool. I like it. What it's doing is totally reasonable. There is a window of vulnerability when you get the first flood counter and you're trying to keep it alive with a 1-mana spell. They can kill it before the flood counter is applied to your land, so all of your 1-mana protection spells don't actually save it. And that is a little awkward, but sometimes they don't have an answer, right? And sometimes even if they do, you can maybe wait a little and actually cast this again. It didn't feel like that was ever a possibility, but the more I played, the more it felt like it was actually reasonable to cast this at 6 mana, albeit still very difficult. I found myself struggling to draw a lot of cards, so that is something I started to change as I played, like Gravenlore, Precog, and I think there's a couple others in here. Drawn from Dreams is one that happens on my turn, so then on my opponent's turn I can have one there as well, because it's a sorcery. Although with that logic, if it was an instant, I could just cast it on my turn and then have another on my opponent's turn anyways, but I think this card is totally fine. You cannot run Memory Deluge because it looks at cards equal to the amount of mana you spent on it, not just 2 through 7 every time, or 2 from 4 and then like 7 or 2 from 7 later for the flashback. It doesn't work with discounting. We could also run Sapphire Medallion, which discounts all spells by 1. It's a 2-mana card. It's kind of good in discounting literally every card in my deck except these ones, and that's probably fine. I don't know if it's amazing because I'm trying to get the discount here, but it is one of the cards that does let me cast this a turn earlier. That is interesting, right? But with that logic, we're going to start to convince ourselves of running more and more Mana Rocks, because we're like, oh man, it's so great to play this on turn 3 every game. Let's run more and more Mana Rocks. Let's take out more and more things that are like good with this. And I just don't like to do that. But I think Sapphire Medallion is the one excuse that it probably should have been in here, now that I'm thinking about it. But it just wasn't. I don't even know if I own it. Can I craft it? I can't craft it. So if I don't own it, well, rip. I like the Counterspell package. It's way different from Tamiyo, Brawl, and the like. It's different enough where I would recommend this if you like to play Mono Blue and you don't like to play just turn 1 Tamiyo and then Counterspells for the rest of the game. All 2 and 3 mana cards that just counter everything your opponent does and they just can't play the game. This does do different things. It has a good way of interacting with, like, Humiliates and Counterspells, obviously. Bounce spells were really good. Card draw was, like, kind of crucial, maybe a little too crucial, and I wasn't respecting it enough. I might want more card draw, even though I was adding more at the end there. Commit to Memory was actually, when I added it, ended up being really, really good. So I think more of that is totally reasonable. Commandeer is weird. I used it, I think, a single time, and it stole a Alrun's, yeah, it stole an Alrun's Epiphany, but I still lost the game anyways because they had Scute Swarm. But I think Commandeer is just good enough, especially if you wind up drawing a lot of cards, and it's nice to pitch like your dead or irrelevant dive down stuff to it. It doesn't steal creatures. I initially thought it did, but it doesn't steal creatures. No big deal. You can still steal anything it steals is fine, right? It's just better than negate. You can run Subtlety. I don't think I own a Subtlety. I was trying to play 0 creatures. I guess Subtlety isn't really a creature because it doesn't really stay in play. But, I mean, you can have it stay in play, and it's not a bad card to hardcast. But it doesn't get discounted, so it's not really ever going to come up. But Subtlety is also just a good card at this point for blue decks. All blue decks, really, not just something like this. I did not feel like at any point I wanted another creature, which was a good sign, a very good sign. I also didn't necessarily feel like I needed to make this unblockable or have it get flying, which is also very good. It means I'm not making room for that stuff. I took out the swords equipment because, again, they just felt situational and, for the most part, not really good at all. There's plenty of cards in the colors that gives you protection from that they can just deal with the equipment, and then the equipment doesn't do what you want it to, right? Oh, it's a blue-black deck. I have a blue-black equipment. Okay, they just bounced the equipment, and then they killed your commander. Oh, they just had colorless creatures. They Cyclonic Rift at you. They Odawara Channel is not a blue. It's not blue, right? Like, so there's ways to very easily dodge the equipment in all of the colors, especially green. And green is like the most prolific one. It's got Besage You. It's got Wilt. It has, I guess it has Force of Vigor now. I don't really ever see that, though. There's just plenty of... Haywire Might. Like, there's plenty of ways the equipment do not do what you want them to. Atali can just ignore it, right? Atali's like, oh, well, I can't swing into Atali. I'll just die in the crackback. Pock is a 25-25. I can't swing. I'm just blocking Pock all day. I can't actually utilize the equipment text other than protection. So I really just don't like them. I don't think they're good. If you want equipment, I think your best bet is some sort of evasion, like flying, like the cobbled wings, or whatever. You know, the equipment that give flying is like your best bet. Or the enchantments that give flying, I guess, as well. But equipment's probably a little bit better, because if this dies, you would probably like to have the equipment stick around to then be useful later. But, I don't know. You just have to find room for that stuff, and I think this is better than trying to make this actually connect. The only big thing is actually swinging, where if you cannot swing, you don't get your flood counter. I don't care if it's like a 10-10 and they don't block it and they take 10 twice and then they just start blocking it when they're at 5, right? That's reasonable. But you really just want the flood counters so you can actually cast like multiple spells a turn and really start to push ahead. However, your plan B, which is just naturally playing a blue deck with counter spells and bounce spells and stuff, is kind of just fine. Like, I had enough of that where the big things weren't in the way too much, where I felt like my plan B, which is just playing normal mono blue, wasn't bad. It was solid to have a plan B sort of just be baked in. I don't even know if you can call it a plan B. It's more of like it's just sort of this, it's on theme with what you're doing anyways, because you must have that counterspell package plan B sort of thing going if you are to ever get to the primary idea, which is flood counters, big spells. So they kind of go hand in hand anyways, right? It's like saying Mono Black's plan B is a bunch of removal, so then they can stabilize and cast a big scary thing. Well, it's like, well, no, Mono Black just does that. It's not really their plan B. It's just what they do. So you've got like two big things going on here, and both are solid, and you don't need your commander to cast big things. You can just wait it out, play an island every turn, and just play them naturally, and that's kind of fine, right? Like, these cards are just good. They don't have to be discounted, but for the most part, you're going to really want to discount them. If you're not, doing anything with your commander involved, you still have to actually win the game. Which really our only way of doing that was beating our opponent to death, and that really wasn't hard. So yeah, I recommend this commander. It was fun to play, right? If you're into this kind of thing. I know it makes some people miserable, but if you like it and you want to play a big version of a counterspell deck, this is absolutely the way to do it. It is functional at 4 mana without mana rocks, which is huge. That's a colossal thing. And yeah, that's it. The only thing I would say is maybe be more wary of your land count, because I felt like I was getting mana screwed a lot, but it's just a mono blue deck with not a lot of smaller card draw, so I need to like borderline naturally draw my lands, because the big spells that draw cards are also counter spells or things I'm leaving up, which means I'm not using it on my turn to draw land if I needed a land drop. So, and we are thinning, quote unquote, we are playing lands that thin for just like a gate, which actually the gate almost was in play almost every game, and surprisingly useful. I saw it a lot off of this card, so I actually really I really like the fetch lands gate here. But alright, let me know what you thought about it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.